Ladies and gentlemen, every fortune ever made, every empire ever built, every dream ever realized, began in one place, the human mind. Before anything is achieved in the physical world, it must first be vividly imagined, definitively desired, and relentlessly pursued. You see, there is a science to achieving goals, and like any science, it begins with a fundamental principle, definiteness of purpose. Without a clearly defined goal, the mind is like a ship without a rudder. It drifts, but when you declare to yourself with absolute certainty what it is you want, be it wealth, influence, mastery, or peace, you light a fire that no wind can extinguish. But desire alone is not enough. Desire must be backed by faith, a firm, unwavering belief that you can and will succeed. Faith is the chemical that transforms ordinary thoughts into powerful realities. You must see yourself already in possession of the goal. You must feel it, taste it, live it in your imagination, for the mind will always attract what it believes to be true. Now, how do we convince the mind of this truth? Through auto-suggestion. Speak your goal aloud. Repeat it morning and night. Write it, meditate on it. The subconscious mind is always listening, and it acts on what it hears most often. Plant your goal into your subconscious, and it will grow roots so deep that no failure, no rejection, no obstacle can shake it loose. Then comes the true test: persistence. The world will resist your progress, people will doubt you, fear will whisper lies in your ear, but those who achieve great things are not those who never fail. They are those who refuse to quit. Each setback is but a signal that you are getting closer. Keep going when it's hard. Keep going when you're tired. Keep going when your hands shake and your heart doubts. Success is not for the faint. It is for the resolute. And remember this: no man or woman rises alone. Align yourself with those who think in terms of growth, who believe in power, and who speak in terms of vision. This is the mastermind, a union of minds harmonized toward a common purpose. In such a group lies a force far greater than any one individual. Leverage it. So I ask you not to wish, not to wait, not to wonder, but to decide. Decide what you want. Feed it with belief, water it with action. Shield it with persistence, and surround it with greatness. The science of achieving goals is not hidden. It is waiting for you to apply it. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. No man can hope to climb the ladder of success without first deciding exactly where he wants to go. Vague wishes, half-formed hopes, and idle daydreams amount to nothing in the realm of accomplishment. The human mind, though powerful beyond measure, must be given a specific direction if it is to harness its full strength. Without a target, energy is scattered, efforts are diluted, and the will remains dormant. But when a definite purpose is fixed firmly in the mind, something remarkable happens. Your thoughts begin to align, your emotions ignite, and your actions acquire focus and force. You cannot hit a mark that you cannot see. This truth is as absolute as the law of gravity. Yet how many people go through life with only a foggy idea of what they want? They say they want to be successful, or wealthy, or happy, but they cannot define what success looks like, what wealth means, or what happiness feels like. Their goals shift with the seasons, and their efforts are short-lived. The universe responds not to confusion, but to clarity. When you state your aim in specific terms, you engage the power of your conscious and subconscious mind in a deliberate manner. You issue a command, and the machinery of your being begins to move in harmony with that command. This definiteness must go beyond words. It must be felt with intensity and believed with absolute certainty. It is not enough to say, "I want to succeed." You must know what success means to you. It could be a certain profession, a financial milestone, a skill mastered, or a contribution made to the world. The clearer the image in your mind, the more energy you can give to it. And energy, when focused, is a force of nature. Think of the sun. Its rays, spread wide, warm the earth, but when concentrated through a magnifying glass, those same rays ignite fire. So it is with the human will. A man with a vague desire exerts no more heat than a lamp in the wind, but a man with a definite chief aim, burning, persistent, and sharp, can set the world ablaze. This principle is not theory, it is fact. All great achievements in history began with an unwavering focus on a single idea. Whether it was Edison's light bulb, Carnegie's steel empire, or Ford's motor car, the path began with a purpose so definite it could not be shaken. When you select your goal, you must resolve to exclude all that does not lead to it. This is where many falter. They want to do everything, be everything, and please everyone. But greatness is not found in scattered motion. It is forged in single-minded pursuit. You must say no to distractions, no to detours, and no to anything that dulls your edge. The world will tempt you to drift, to compromise, to settle for something less defined. But if you surrender your definiteness, you surrender your power. Once your purpose is chosen, write it down. Declare it to yourself with conviction. Memorize it. Repeat it daily. Let it become a part of your identity. This process does not merely keep you motivated. It trains your mind to see the world through the lens of your aim. Opportunities that once went unnoticed will suddenly appear. Decisions become easier. Priorities become clearer. The fog of uncertainty lifts, and the road, though not always smooth, becomes visible. This definiteness gives you more than focus. It gives you endurance. When you face difficulties, and you will, it is your purpose that keeps you moving. Without it, the first storm will send you off course, but with it, no setback is permanent. You may pause, but you do not quit. You may fail, but you do not abandon. Purpose gives you a reason to rise when others stay down. It gives you a reason to act when others hesitate. It gives you a reason to sacrifice what is easy for what is worthwhile. Do not fear that choosing one definite purpose means giving up other dreams. In truth, it is the only way to make any of them real. Life is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice, and every choice becomes easier when guided by a central aim. From your relationships to your habits, from the books you read to the people you associate with, your definite purpose acts as a compass. It shows you what belongs in your life, and what does not. Some may say they do not yet know what their purpose is. That is no excuse to remain idle. Begin where you are. Reflect. What do you truly desire? What stirs your soul? What do you find yourself drawn to again and again, even when no one is watching? There lies a clue. Purpose is not always discovered in a flash of lightning. Sometimes it emerges slowly, through action, exploration, and quiet thought. But it does not reveal itself to those who do not seek it. The process of choosing and refining your purpose is itself transformative. It calls you to examine your values, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your dreams. It demands honesty. It demands courage. But once found, it gives your life a rhythm, a beat to march to even when the world is noisy. And that rhythm, steady, strong, and sure, carries you further than talent, luck, or even education ever could. You may face criticism. Others may not understand your vision. They may urge you to be realistic, to lower your sights, to do what is safe. But the man or woman with a definite purpose is not easily shaken. Their eyes are fixed. Their spirit is resolute. They understand what others do not, that the journey is only made possible by the clarity of the destination. There is no great secret to achieving your goals. The path begins the moment you choose one goal, and pursue it with everything you have. You must give it your thought, your time, your energy, your passion. You must study it, speak it, build around it, and as you grow in purpose, you will grow in power. The world steps aside for the one who knows where he is going. It always has, it always will. Faith is the cornerstone of all achievement. It is the inner vision that sees the goal before the eyes can, the belief that holds firm even when the world doubts. Without faith, definiteness of purpose has no fuel. Without faith, plans remain ink on paper, and desire burns out like a match in the wind. But faith alone, untethered from action, is mere fantasy. To accomplish anything of significance, one must combine belief with movement, conviction with execution. This union, faith backed by action, is the true catalyst of success. Every person who has risen from obscurity to greatness has relied on faith to carry them through the valleys of uncertainty, when circumstances were bleak, when progress was slow, when failure seemed final. It was not evidence that sustained them, it was faith. But understand this, their faith was not idle, it was active. It pushed them to act when there was no guarantee. It forced them to try again when the last attempt had failed. It commanded them to persist, to dare, to risk. And in that relentless forward motion, faith found its proof. Too many people wait to act until they feel confident. They believe they must have certainty before they move, but the truth is the opposite. Action precedes confidence, and movement breeds clarity. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of it. When a man steps out on a dream that no one else believes in, when a woman stakes her future on an idea no one else can see, they are demonstrating the highest form of faith. Not the kind whispered in prayer alone, but the kind lived through courage and action. To develop faith, one must speak the language of success long before it shows up. Your words shape your mind. Speak as if the goal is already yours. Think in terms of when, not if. Replace doubt with affirmation. Repeat your purpose daily until your subconscious begins to accept it as reality. This mental conditioning is not superstition, it is science. The subconscious mind, once saturated with belief, begins to direct your thoughts, choices, and instincts toward the fulfillment of that belief. Still, belief without labor is a house with no foundation. If you want results, you must act as if your goal depends on your every move, because it does. No amount of vision can substitute for the discipline of doing. Ideas do not execute themselves. Opportunities do not chase the unprepared. The universe respects effort. When your faith takes form in consistent, deliberate action, doors begin to open, resources appear, people align with you, momentum builds, and what once seemed impossible begins to unfold with startling speed. This principle has been proven time and time again. History does not remember the man who merely hoped. It remembers the man who worked while he hoped. It honors the one who believed enough to rise early, stay late, endure failure, and keep going. Faith backed by action is what turns dreamers into doers and vision into victory. When you act with faith, you no longer negotiate with your fears. You no longer seek permission to pursue what is yours. You move with a certainty that confuses the timid and attracts the bold, and in that motion you become the kind of person your goal requires you to be. The act of striving reshapes you. You begin to think sharper, speak clearer, work harder. You elevate yourself to the level of your desires, not by chance, but by choice. You will meet resistance. The world often tests the one who believes. You may fail, you may be laughed at, you may lose money, time, even friends. But faith backed by action sees through the temporary. It views each setback as feedback. It sees rejection as redirection, and it understands that success is never given. It is earned through trials and perseverance. This kind of faith cannot be borrowed. It must be cultivated. You must feed it daily with thoughts of success, stories of triumph, and the presence of those who think in terms of greatness. Do not expose your dreams to those who belittle ambition. Protect your belief like a flame in the wind. Let it grow through repetition, reflection, and most of all, through action. Your results will be in exact proportion to the level of faith you hold and the amount of work you apply. Weak belief produces weak effort. Strong belief fuels tireless pursuit. The man who doubts himself works half-heartedly, second, guesses every decision, and collapses at the first obstacle. But the man who believes moves like a storm, deliberate, unstoppable, and precise. When you act with faith, you begin to live from the future. You make decisions not based on where you are, but on where you are going. You take risks not out of recklessness, but out of trust in your vision. And that trust becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You begin to attract what you expect. You meet people who mirror your certainty. You stumble upon opportunities that match your energy. Faith backed by action sends a signal to the world. This person is serious. Help them. It is not enough to want success. It is not enough to dream of a better life. You must believe that you deserve it, believe that you can earn it, and then move as if nothing could stop you. Most people wait for the right time, the perfect plan, the clear path, but the right time is now. The perfect plan is effort, and the clear path is the one you carve with your own hands. You do not need everything to be certain before you begin. Begin, and you will create the certainty. Move, and you will find the way. Believe, and you will make others believe. Every great fortune, every breakthrough, every triumph of the human spirit was born when someone decided to act, not because it was easy, but because they had faith in the outcome and the discipline to make it real. The mind is the most powerful instrument known to man, but it must be directed. It does not operate effectively through accident or chaos. It responds to control, to repetition, to deliberate suggestion. And among the most potent tools ever discovered for influencing the subconscious mind is the principle of autosuggestion. This is not magic. It is not guesswork. It is a systematic method of feeding the mind with specific thoughts until those thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs begin to shape reality. Every thought you think leaves an impression, but not every thought becomes a belief. The thoughts that are repeated with emotion, conviction, and clarity are the ones that sink deepest into the subconscious. The subconscious does not judge. It does not question. It simply receives and acts. It is a servant of your dominant mental habits. If you feed it with doubt, fear, and failure, it accepts those as instructions. But if you fill it with faith, desire, and a clear picture of success, it responds by guiding your behavior, your perception, and even your luck in ways that defy ordinary explanation. Autosuggestion is the act of deliberately planting thoughts into the mind through repeated verbal and mental affirmations. It is a way of seizing control of your internal dialogue. Most people allow their minds to be dominated by chance, by random fears, by the opinions of others, by past failures, by the noise of the world. But the individual who masters autosuggestion becomes the master of their inner world, and thus the master of their fate. The process is simple, but it demands consistency. You begin by writing down your definite chief aim, not in vague language, but in precise terms. What do you want? When do you want it? What are you willing to give in return? Then you must create a statement of that aim, written in the present tense, filled with certainty and emotion, and speak it aloud to yourself at least twice a day, once upon waking and once before sleep. You do this not as a ritual, but as a command. You do it with the belief that what you are saying is already real in the unseen realm, and your job is simply to align with it through your thoughts and actions. Words spoken aloud with faith have power. They impress themselves upon the subconscious like a seal in wax, and the more you repeat them, the deeper the impression becomes. In time, these words become a part of you. They influence the way you see yourself, the choices you make, and the opportunities you recognize. You begin to act in ways that are consistent with the mental image you have created, and soon the outer world begins to reflect the inner vision. This is not wishful thinking, it is mental conditioning. Champions of industry, leaders of nations, and inventors of progress have used this principle whether they knew the term or not. The man who wakes each day and declares, "I am a failure," may not mean to suggest that to his mind, but he does. And the man who rises with purpose, saying, "I am destined for success," whether he begins with little or nothing, is giving a command that his subconscious mind takes seriously. Over time, it begins to guide his steps toward that destiny. The key is repetition. One declaration will not change your life, any more than one workout will change your body. Autosuggestion requires daily effort. You must saturate your mind with the image of what you want. You must repeat it until you believe it, and once belief is established, the rest follows with surprising speed. Emotion is the amplifier of suggestion. A dry, mechanical recitation of words will do little. You must feel the words. You must see yourself already in possession of your goal. You must imagine the emotions that success will bring: pride, relief, joy, gratitude, and experience them now as you repeat your affirmations. In this way, the subconscious begins to believe that the success is not far off, but already yours. It begins to accept the vision not as fantasy, but as fact, and once accepted, it begins to work tirelessly behind the scenes to make that fact visible in your life. Your subconscious controls your habits, your intuition, your instincts. It guides the words you speak, the way you carry yourself, the decisions you make in moments of pressure. When it is programmed with poverty and limitation, you behave accordingly. But when it is programmed with prosperity, purpose, and confidence, you rise. You begin to think like a winner, speak like a leader, and act like a builder of dreams. Autosuggestion is the tool that makes this transformation possible. Guard your mind carefully. Every word you speak, every thought you dwell on, every message you receive from the world is a form of suggestion. If you do not take control of it, someone else will. The advertisements you see, the criticisms you hear, the doubts others project, all of these are seeds trying to take root in your subconscious. If you allow them in, they will grow. But if you counter them with deliberate, powerful auto-suggestions, they wither. Let your mind become a garden, tend to it daily, weed out the fears, water the vision, feed it with words of strength, images of victory, declarations of purpose. Your outer world will reflect your inner world because the subconscious does not differentiate between imagination and reality. It responds to what is repeated, emotionalized, and believed. There is no secret to this. There is only practice. The man who dares to declare his success before he has evidence of it is not a fool. He is a creator. He understands that the world bends to those who first bend their own thoughts. He knows that nothing is built outside until it is first built inside. Autosuggestion is the blueprint. The voice you speak to yourself becomes the architecture of your destiny. No matter your background, your education, or your current station in life, you possess the same tool that all great achievers have used, the ability to shape your thoughts, to choose them, to repeat them, and by doing so, to transform your beliefs, your behavior, and ultimately your life. Every worthwhile goal requires a plan. A desire without a plan is a wish. A goal without a plan is a fantasy. It is the organized, practical blueprint behind your desire that brings it into reality. Success does not bow to luck, nor does it yield itself to scattered effort. It responds only to those who think deliberately, plan carefully, and execute relentlessly. Organized planning is not just a helpful habit. It is the bridge between what you want and what you get. No man can reach his objective without a well-laid plan. But planning is not guesswork, and it is not merely writing down a list of things to do. It is the thoughtful, deliberate design of steps necessary to bring your definite chief aim into being. It begins by asking, what is the outcome I seek? What is the deadline? What resources will be required? Who can help me? What obstacles are likely to arise? What knowledge must I acquire? These questions form the framework of every great plan, and they demand serious answers. The person who fails to ask them walks blindly into mediocrity. Planning brings order to chaos. It turns overwhelm into manageable tasks. It breaks down the impossible into the possible. It is through planning that you transform a vision into a strategy. Most people drift through life reacting to events. They have hope but no direction, effort but no strategy, ambition but no structure. Their failure is not due to lack of desire. It is due to the absence of planning. You must become your own architect, and to build a strong structure, you must first draw the plans. The plan should be specific, not vague. It should be broken into clear stages. It should have daily actions that are measurable. A man who acts without a plan is like a ship without a rudder. He may be moving, but he is going nowhere. A man with a clear plan, though slow at first, moves forward with increasing force because each step compounds upon the last. A good plan is flexible. Life may alter your path, but it cannot destroy your progress if your mind is organized. You may need to revise your plan a dozen times before it produces results, but that is no cause for surrender. Temporary defeat is the servant of learning. When a plan fails, it simply means a better one is required. Many men fail, not because their desire was too weak, but because they quit after the first plan did not succeed. They mistook a single failure for a final judgment. But those who succeed understand this. The plan may change, but the goal remains. They persist until they find a way. They adapt, but they do not abandon. Every great enterprise, every fortune, every movement began with a definite plan. Railroads were not built by enthusiasm alone. Nations were not formed by hope alone. Wealth was not acquired by chance alone. All were birthed from clear designs, calculated strategies, and persistent application. Those who leave achievement to chance remain at the mercy of circumstance, but those who plan seize power over their direction. Do not confuse planning with delay. A plan is not an excuse for procrastination. It is the structure that justifies swift, intelligent action. Once the plan is written, it must be followed. One must move with decision, not endless deliberation. Many people suffer from the disease of overthinking. They revise their plan 100 times, but never take the first step. Planning is only as valuable as the action that follows it. One man with a clear plan will always outperform 10 who have none. Planning saves time, energy, and error. It brings clarity to your mind, and clarity breeds confidence. When you rise in the morning with a plan, your actions are purposeful. You do not wander, you work. You do not guess, you execute. You move from step to step with the assurance that every move counts toward your chief aim, and that sense of progress, however small, builds momentum. You must plan not only for success, but also for adversity. No plan is complete if it does not anticipate resistance. You must be prepared for rejection, failure, delays, and opposition. This is not pessimism. It is wisdom. The wise planner expects obstacles and builds his strength accordingly. He does not rely on ideal conditions. He prepares to win under any conditions. That is the strength of organized planning. It arms you in advance against the trials that test the unprepared. Surround yourself with minds that can help refine your plan. No man is wise enough to accomplish great things alone. The most successful people enlist the counsel of others. They seek feedback. They ask questions. They build alliances. A good plan includes people. You must know who you can count on and what you can delegate. Leadership is part of planning. If your plan depends only on you, it will soon hit a wall. But if you involve others, align your efforts, and lead with vision, you multiply your capacity. Write your plan down. Let it live on paper where it cannot be forgotten. Let it be your compass. Refer to it daily. Adjust it as needed, but never discard it lightly. A written plan has weight. It becomes a contract with yourself. When you see it often, you act on it more, and action, repeated with faith and guided by a plan, becomes habit. Habit becomes character, and character shapes destiny. Time must be scheduled. Goals must be broken into parts. Rewards must be tied to achievements, and the plan must be reviewed as often as necessary to stay in alignment with your objective. Success is not about trying harder. It is about thinking clearer. The man who plans once and forgets his plan lives in fantasy. The man who reviews his plan daily is building an empire, one brick at a time. There is a science to achievement, and planning is one of its pillars. It is not mystical. It is methodical. It is not hopeful. It is intentional. You must take your dreams, your ambitions, your burning desires, and treat them as if they deserve the same respect as any great undertaking. That means you must plan for them, protect them with your time, and pursue them with the discipline of a builder who knows exactly what he is creating. Planning gives direction, direction gives strength, and strength applied daily with intelligent design becomes unstoppable. There is no substitute for persistence. No quality, no talent, no stroke of fortune will ever replace the power of a mind that refuses to give up. Persistence is the iron will behind every great success, the fuel that drives the man of purpose when the path grows dark, when failure whispers its lies, and when even allies doubt the mission. The man who persists becomes the master of fate, not because he never falls, but because he always rises. Victory belongs not to the swift or the lucky, but to the resolute. Every dream that has ever been realized, every monument ever built, every empire ever established, each is the product of someone who would not turn back. When the world said no, he said yes. When the doors closed, he found another. When he was ignored, laughed at, criticized, and even betrayed, he endured. He held to his vision with a grip of steel. That is persistence. The man who stops at the first sign of difficulty has no claim to success. The road to achievement is not paved in comfort. It is rough, uncertain, often lonely. It is filled with detours, delays, and disappointment. But the persistent man knows this, and he prepares his mind accordingly. He does not waste time wishing the road were easier. He becomes stronger. He does not ask the world to move for him. He learns to push through the world. He expects struggle, and because he expects it, it does not break him. There is a hidden law in nature that rewards persistence. It is not always immediate. It may not show itself in days or weeks. But the man who keeps pressing forward, who keeps moving in the direction of his goal, who acts with purpose day after day, begins to find that doors open, opportunities appear, and unseen forces come to his aid. The world does not respond to hesitation. It moves in response to action, and it yields in response to unwavering faith. Persistence is that faith in motion. Many begin with enthusiasm, few endure with resolve. The test of your desire is measured not at the beginning, when excitement is high, but in the middle, when progress is slow and results are invisible. This is where most men turn back. They say it was not meant to be. They listen to the whispers of fear and the noise of others who never dared, but the persistent man keeps going. He understands that the dream is not denied, it is being tested, and only those who prove their hunger through action will be deemed worthy to receive it. There is no man of greatness who was not at some point tempted to quit, but he did not. The genius is not the man who never doubts. It is the man who keeps going in spite of doubt. The man who persists develops character, and that character becomes his foundation. Every time he continues despite exhaustion, despite defeat, despite frustration, he builds invisible strength. That strength cannot be borrowed or bought. It is earned, and it becomes unshakable. Persistence begins in the mind. It is a decision, not a feeling. You must decide in advance that you will not quit. You must say to yourself, no matter what comes, delay, rejection, failure, fatigue, I will not stop until I reach the thing I seek. And then, each day, you must act on that decision. Your actions must align with your commitment. You may fall, but you must never fold. You may rest, but you must never retreat. The path to any goal will be longer than you expect. It will demand more from you than you think you have. It will confront you with your weaknesses, expose your excuses, and bring to the surface every doubt you've buried. But this is the process. This is how the world makes you earn the prize. The trials are not there to stop you. They are there to shape you. Every hardship faced with persistence becomes a stepping stone to mastery. To persist is to train the mind to defy failure. It is to reframe every defeat as feedback, every delay as preparation, and every setback as part of the path. The persistent man does not blame the world. He does not wait for better conditions. He creates the conditions by moving forward regardless. He does not waste time complaining. He builds, he works, he endures. This principle holds true in every field. The inventor who brings forth a world-changing device is not the one with the first idea, but the one who continues after the first 10 attempts fail. The entrepreneur who builds a fortune is not the one with the most brilliant plan, but the one who refines the plan again and again until it works. The leader who transforms a generation is not the one who speaks best, but the one who continues to lead when no one is watching. It is not brilliance, it is endurance. It is not ease, it is grit. Every man who truly desires something must be prepared to suffer for it, not in the sense of pain alone, but in the sense of sacrifice, discipline, and mental pressure. Success does not bloom in comfort, it grows in fire, and only those who persist long enough in the heat will see it bear fruit. If you have a goal, fix your mind on it and begin. Start where you are with what you have. Plan, act, adjust, and persist. When the obstacles appear, do not curse them. Conquer them. When discouragement visits, do not welcome it, overcome it. When the results are delayed, do not stop. Stay the course. You are not finished until the goal is achieved. Everything between the start and the finish is part of the refinement of your spirit. Persistence is the final filter. It is where most men are separated from their dreams. The dream is not lost. It is waiting, watching, to see if you will endure long enough to receive it. You do not have to be the fastest, the smartest, or the most gifted, but you must be the one who stays. You must be the one who continues. You must be the one who gets up one more time, takes one more step, speaks one more word, and keeps going. No matter what